Welcome, everybody, to Generation Dan, the only podcast where those rock and roll 8-track tapes are never going to catch on. The Beatles are a passing fad. I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I am Dino, the genetic marvel, and I forgot that when you use a portrait version of the intro, you can still see us on the sides. Yep. So, yeah.
That was really funny.
That was very funny. I feel like that was a great opportunity for everyone to get a little behind the scenes.
I'm lucky I didn't have, so normally I'm either, scratching myself or my dog wants to be picked up or something. Lucky nothing like that was happening.
I mean, it would be even worse if we had a tradition where we just go, while it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse, but let's just say that.
Well, it's usually the burp, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. There was I tried to burp louder than whatever sound was going on, and it worked because let's be honest, I'm a great burper. I am genetically disposed to extra burps. Luckily it's not extra farts, so I don't know.
There she is.
I feel like she's becoming an emotional support
host,
animal for 100% for the show. Everyone should know there's also a dog on camera, and that's why you should watch us on YouTube. It's fair.
Yes. It's a good thing that she can't talk, because otherwise she'd be saying some heinous shit. Isn't that right, Pumpkin? Yes.
I mean, there was somebody was saying that how it would be awesome to know understand every language of everything, and someone was like, no, it's not, because every animal is like, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm horny, I'm hungry, I'm horny, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Why aren't you feeding? There was somebody actually did a cartoon where it was a cat, and the cat magically learned how to talk for 60 seconds. It's like, listen, every time I'm meowing, it's because I want wet food. And the person's like, I'm aware, but you have other food. That's why you can't only have wet food. And the cat's like, his mother, meow. And you're like,
that's pretty
only
funny.
60 seconds. It's like, it's hilarious. Just because, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, this is how you speak to cats. And you're like, that's not a thing. Just calm down. Just everybody relax.
Or it's like that Rick and Morty episode where Rick gives Morty this device so he can hear what animals are saying.
The squirrels.
The squirrels are plotting world domination. That we have a possible Doolittle.
And he's like, no, we just abandoned the planet. If the squirrels know that we can hear their thoughts, just get out. Just get out, because it's over. Which I feel is fair.
So,
hi, what's up, Anna? Welcome.
What were you saying? You had
recently I've been fighting with a raccoon, and I have been victorious, and they no longer are in my rafters in my carport, so I win. Okay. The problem is also there has been multiple videos now. People are like, hey, raccoons are aliens. So they're almost you have been fighting with raccoon. I mean, yeah, I won. So, but this is the thing, is every animal that we know of is depicted in some sort of ancient wall art, something.
Yeah.
Except raccoons. Raccoons aren't. So people are like, yeah, raccoons are aliens. And they're just like, oh, there's a lot of trash here. We're going to hang out. That's fine. Yeah, we're just going to do your thing. There was a raccoon. I'll be running. I mean, this is the thing, is in Toronto. So I'm in Toronto, Canada. And I'm just on the edge of what would be Toronto proper. But there's a lot of food places and everything around me. And if you walk around, you see a raccoon. They look essentially like a barrel with hands and feet. Because they're so fat, because there's so much trash for them to choose from. Some people do make that face. That's fair. I understand. But I will not be thwarted. The only thing I'm afraid of is a moose and a bear. And a bear, I'm more afraid of a moose. Never fought a bison, though. They're big and scary, but I feel they would be cool. They'd be like, hey, you look like us. It's fine.
My friend Emrys, who you can see on this show, episode 42, I'm a boink a cute Dutch boy. But I was talking to them recently, and they were like, "We should domesticate raccoons." I'm like, "Are you insane?" And they go, "No, because thumbs, right? You can,
Yeah.
if you can teach them, and then they can like get stuff for you." I'm like, still weird, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, you're not wrong about the potential. It's just that they will not get in line. Like they will not be orderly. They will not follow the rules. I'll tell you. That's
I don't know. In LA, the like most nuisancey like wild animal that we see out here is coyotes, but they don't invade your house. They're just in the area. The biggest thing is like dog and cat owners because they'll eat a cat.
Yeah. I feel like that's second to homeless people, but that's just my opinion. That's
coyotes are homeless. No,
Pepsi is better.
Oh yeah. So the actual.
Oh, you have Coke, sure.
Yeah.
I forgot to get a hat. No, yeah. I'm gonna get one. You know what? When I go to Florida, I will get it. Texas sucks too.
Jordan, I don't know who you are, but I like you. The what's it called? The topic we had today was like predictions, and what I more mean by that is more like pop culture. What's like this is going to be a big deal, this isn't going to be a big deal, and then things who are hilariously wrong or correct.
You know what? Something I have never asked you about is your perspective on Y2K. So, like, I was 19 in 1999. Okay. California is the best state and Trump sucks. You're just a liar. Thoughts on Elon Musk? He's a human being, maybe 50-50.
Continue.
Whatever. Hey, he was your god until he wasn't. So I don't trust any of your opinions.
Yeah.
But like, so for me, I was like, this is being blown out of proportion, but a lot of people, like, they were terrified, and I laughed a lot. And then when nothing happened, I laughed even more because I'm a bad person. But
so the general understanding was that because people were freaking out and they took steps to prevent that sort of thing from happening. So to our younger listeners, generations, Y2K was that all the dates on the computers all over the world only had 2-digit dates.
Yeah.
So 98, 99. So the thought was when it gets to 2000 and it rolls over to a 00, some shit was going to happen.
Yeah.
People took steps to like, okay, let's upgrade our computer system so they have 4 digits.
Right.
And thus nothing happened, which is why Dino thought it was funny because nothing happened. There is a possibility that, you know, they were overreacting and it rolling over to 00 isn't that big of a deal.
Hold on. Are you saying that people without the right information will freak out on the smallest thing?
No way. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That said, you had people like building bunkers. There was a Family Guy episode where Y2K happens and the entire world ends. You know, he ate all
the MREs that were like dehydrated food and then drank water and blew up to the sides of the basement. He's like, I gotta poop. You gotta leave
now. Yeah.
It was great. It was great.
So, like, this was very much in the minds of people at the time this was going on.
But you were a kid, so how did you see it? Because like it was like, let's be honest. So that was still that was still a time where there was an argument to say that the internet is stupid because we mostly had dial-up and it sucked.
Yeah,
and it was useless, and it's, you know, it wasn't what it was within fucking 3-4 years, right? 3-4 years after that, everything changed, right? So
I think because so my relationship with the internet was non-existent at this point. I did not really start going on the internet until like 3rd, 4th grade. Newgrounds, addictinggames.com, homestarrunner.com, all those.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, Neopets, Club Penguin, that shit. So like I didn't really know or care. The thing I was like the most concerned about was like I had just gotten Pokemon Red and was super psyched about it.
Seems like a thing you would do on any given week.
Of course, when you're 5 years old, yeah.
Or 32. That's fine. Yeah.
I also remember like there was this drugstore near our house that had a lot of Beanie Babies in it. And
Oh.
like you're like, ooh, Beanie Babies, and your parents are like, it's stupid. Like,
Yes.
and then we're like, why? And they go, people think you can sell them for a lot of money and it's gonna crash. I remember my dad saying this.
Yes.
And we're like, what's crash? He's like, well, if you can sell it for a lot of money and then it stops being worth a lot of money, it crashes. And then you're five, so you're like, how does that work? Exactly. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what supply and demand is.
Then he has to, he has to explain supply and demand, which is it is the most complex, simple system in the universe.
He tried. This is the same guy who, when I asked where babies came from, he got out the anatomy textbook and fucking told me what it was. So he tried.
Yeah, that'll ruin everything very quickly.
So did that, and then I was like, okay, so they're probably going to crash. And my dad was right; they did crash very soon after that. But
I still remember the picture of two people going through a divorce, and they're like on the floor with the pile of Beanie Babies, and they're like dividing them up, and you're like,
yeah,
you're a nut job. Like, I don't.
Now, at the time, sure, but this is also why I'm not super freaked out about the Labubu thing, because it's the same shit. Like, So, as it comes to Y2K, I just was not aware and or
it wasn't in your universe.
I was just trying not to pee my pants,
yeah. Which has still been an issue, everyone. Just
of course, for everyone, yes.
So like that was the thing. Like that was the first. See, like I in some ways I'm jealous and then happy in others in the fact that like we didn't have as many events like that as I was growing up. There were a few that were quite jarring. The peak of those that I would qualify as childhood events would have been Y2K, which at that point, like I was just starting college. I turned 19. I was, the cock of the walk. And it was like, and people were like,
say on this show. Yeah. I was the bee's knees.
I was the cat's ass. No, it's it's I mean, the cat thinks a lot of it. So it was one of those things where people were like, this is going to be huge. And I'm like, no, it won't. It's because the weird thing was the explanation was these computers will think it's 1900 and not the year 2000. And I'm like, they didn't exist then. Why would they think that? And people were like, they just will. And I'm like, that's not an explanation. You're retarded. Like that. I immediately was like, hold on. Apples to apples. We are not playing with a full deck here. You guys aren't nothing. This is weird. That was the first where I'm like, this is half propaganda, half real life. And the real part isn't a big deal. But the propaganda, great. Because hey, people spent money on Y2K stuff. Like it was, there was also, well, we've all seen this where there's a new product to replace the old product. And then companies, and this happens with cell phones still to this day, where they will forcibly restrict the power of your older cell phone just so you'll get a new one. So like right now, I just did an update on my phone. Victoria did an update on her phone. We have the same update and both of our batteries are just draining super fast all of a sudden. You're like,
this is why I almost never update my phone unless it like fucking we're updating your phone, bitch. Like
There's and it's this weird thing where you gotta go like there's how much of it is economical versus actual progress, right? Like one of the great, like I love this debate, just considering your shirt, is that I don't believe that we ever got Classic Coke back.
We never did. No,
we never did. Because Coke in the early 80s was not just refreshing, it was an experience. And then New Coke came and it sucked.
Now, does Mexican Coke with the glass bottle and the cane sugar, is that anything like Classic Coke?
As long as it's in a glass bottle, it's very close.
Close, but not the same.
Yeah, still not the same. And I'm a firm believer that there's this transitional period that happens with most things. Man, just put the cocaine. Oh, bro, put the cocaine back, for the love of God. I mean,
I've
that
always
would
known it
solve
would be
a
cocaine
lot
or
of our
cola or
issues.
something
Yeah,
like this.
it's. I mean, well, were you around for Jolt Cola?
Mhm. I wasn't drinking it, but I saw it around.
Yeah, so I knew a guy. One of my friends from high school. I hung out with her brother. It was like the four guys that and she was adjacent. She was awesome. She's been watching a lot of my stuff and has been supporting, and it's appreciated. But her brother, who was the only one of us that was like thin, and like he actually had abs and stuff, but he was also like 5'4", and he would drink 2 Jolt Colas a day. And I'm like, that, because he was already like a nervous, like a spastic kind of guy, and I'm like, he was fast too, and I'm like, you should not be drinking that much caffeine. Like that is not healthy. But like, it was a huge thing for a lot of people. That's why it's this weird thing where, as like Victoria and I even have this process where I'm like, a restaurant opens, you can't go in the first month because they're still figuring shit out. But you have to go within the first 6 months, because after 6 months, the accountants get in charge and they're like, oh, you can only fill a ramekin halfway. You can only do this. You can only have these. You can only have 4 pieces of bacon on this thing. And you're like, whereas before that, people were like, no, we're just going to make it fucking good. Right. Yeah. And people will. And because a real line cook, chef, whatever you want to call them, is like, nah, man, I'm going to make this person remember this shit. And they, like, we went to a place that opened up. It's close to one of the movie theaters we frequent. And I went in, and they have brisket on the menu, but they have a brunch like brisket poutine, and it's awesome. And they make a great. They're the ones that have their beer fridge has a sticker that says our walk-in fridge, and you're like, because it's Christopher Walken, and I'm like, hey, that's awesome. And but like,
is the fridge with the beer in it?
It's great. So
no,
where the beer is. Yeah.
I'm trying to do like a Christopher Walken. I'm not very good at it.
That's fair.
I don't want to.
I know.
Too bad. You've watched Seven Psychopaths, right?
No, I've never seen it.
You should. He's good in it.
I heard it was really good, and it's more like, my problem is I'll go through my list of things that I can watch and I forget, because stuff drops off and stuff. So it's some things I'll watch regularly. So like Lord of the Rings, 13th Warrior, Usual Suspects, a few movies like that, Batman, cartoons, certain things I will rewatch on a regular basis just because, mental health.
Katie and I watched rewatched Catch Me If You Can the other night.
That was it's a little long. So
movie.
My problem is there are a few movies out there that I would happily rewatch regularly, except when I look it up and I'm like, oh, it's 2.5 hours long. Let's calm the fuck down. Like it's a little much. I know the ridiculous part is that I would rewatch a season of something, and that's much worse. But like right now we're watching Physical Asia, and I'm like, bro, it is awesome. It is.
I love to watch like Ghibli movies, Studio Ghibli movies when it's raining, and then on HBO. And I went to go log in, and they fucking cracked down on the password sharing, so we had to go somewhere else. That's how we ended up watching Catch Me If You Can.
I can give you a website that should have everything for you.
Noted.
It's the pirate life for me, sir.
Generation Dan do not condone pirating of media. Blah blah blah. So like, I guess the like new Coke and Crystal Pepsi thing is a good off ramp there.
Yeah.
To talk about. So I was not around for either of those. What was the general feeling like when they introduced those two things?
The first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, when they go around asking New Yorkers what they think, and they go on, I think it's Jim Norton, and he's a police officer, and he's like, I don't like him, and he stinks. That was kind of the feel. All that like, there's a very polarized thing where just everyone had an opinion. Like it was a rampant, like Coke is a monster. Like, and I don't mean that in a negative way. At this point. But it's more than an institution. Like, what's the movie? Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. One of those where there are companies who control entire continents and have their own currency,
a corporatocracy. Yeah.
right, Coke would be one. There's no question in my mind about
Yeah.
that. It's 100% factual.
Yeah, if you look at that chart where it's like what all the supermarket brands are owned by, and it's like this big web, and they're all on the outside. Those are the companies.
Yeah, and the fact is that like you don't realize that like Coke buys entire restaurant chains, not even buys them, but has a controlling share in them just to put their product out there, right? Like they are like the original gangster of capitalism. And like that's the weird thing where like them making such a drastic move with New Coke, which like New Coke sucked. Like it was like when someone's like, oh, I'm so thirsty, can I have some water? And they're like, here's some sparkling water, and you're like, no, you know, like or someone gives you like, oh, I don't have water, but I have club soda, and you're like, get the fuck out of here. It's not a drink that's refreshing. It was that polarizing of an experience that happened. So it was so weird because like, oh, do you want some to drink? I'll have a Coke. That was a response.
Yeah,
like that was a normal.
The point where like people in the South just call any soda a Coke, which they're wrong about, by the way. But also, like, okay, the soda versus pop, people fine. We can argue about that all day. I'll have a Coke. What kind of Coke? Fuck you. Just say the name of the soda. Like,
yeah, it's a weird,
it's not like Kleenex or like Skyping, or what used to be Skyping, right? That got the like brand name as the verb thing for a while.
I still laugh at how Skype was an existing thing. We did a lot of our first few episodes using Skype. Yeah. But hilariously, people were like, oh, we can Skype about it. I'll send you a Zoom link. And you're like, what?
Yeah. No, there's
you were already there and you lost the entire market. How does that happen?
It's because Microsoft bought it and like they enshittified it so that Teams could be they actively ruined Skype on purpose.
Well, Google did the same thing with Waze. I remember using Waze during a winter storm just when Waze was bought out. No, it was already bought out. So it got me to work super fast, and it was a snowstorm. So like there were road close, like it was a huge pile up on the 401 or that big highway. And I got to work in record time, and I was just like side street. I left the house with a like 98% charge. I got to work and I was on 13%. Like it just it evaporated my entire battery, which I'm like, that's impossible. Like, how does that? But then every time I use Waze, there's a huge draw on my phone. And I was like, weird, really weird stuff. When you're like, I don't understand why you would buy something that works, make it shit so you can bring out your thing. And you're like, or you don't have to do that. Right. But that's the world we live in. Right.
Yeah. I remember when I was going to college and applying to colleges, there was a big part of the conversation between people. Pumpkin, what are you doing back there?
Shenanigans.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She's like, shenanigans. Yeah. But part of the conversation when choosing a college was, do you have a Coke campus or a Pepsi campus? Because it's like,
really?
If you have a Pepsi campus, you're getting worse soda. Unfortunately, mine was a Pepsi campus, but they had Dr. Pepper. So I was like, all right, I can live with that.
Oh, yeah. Listen, see, this is the thing. Is if it's a Pepsi, if they only have Pepsi at a restaurant, but they have Dr. Pepper, they have cream, like they have other things, you're like,
Dr. Pepper seems to like skate the line between the two companies because I've seen them with both.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird anomaly, right? Because Dr. Pepper is its own. There like I'm a firm believer that it's kind of like the Green Party. Like there are Democrats, Republicans.
And then there's these little there
are these weird people that they're like, I drink Dr. Pepper, and you're like, they're not that bad when you get to know them. It's fine. Yeah, I like Dr. Pepper. Like that was honestly when I was working, that was one of the peak things that like I would do is I would have a case of Dr. Pepper, a case of cream soda, and a case of A&W root beer in the house as well. Like I would have Diet Coke. I'm not a fan of Coke because it's not as great as it used to be, and also it's got like 46 grams of sugar. And I'm like, I'll just cut
This
Diet Coke, right?
was supposed to be a Dr. Pepper t-shirt that I could not find. And I was like, fuck it. And they had this instead, so I bought it.
You should get a thing and just tape it on. It's just Dr. Pepper.
Well,
Bam!
Katie really likes Diet Coke, and I got her a Diet Coke t-shirt, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, one for myself." And it's like,
shenanigans.
Okay, there's no Dr. Pepper, so I have to make do.
We were at Costco the other day, and we saw there's a new, I guess, competition for Sprite 7-Up ginger ale. It's called Fuse, Fuze, and both Victoria and I looked at it and we're like, because we were at Costco, which everything is in like, you can get 48 cans of soda. You're like, I don't need that.
I know there's like Starry, which used to be Sierra Mist, which is fine.
Oh,
just fine.
The story of Sierra Mist losing their copy.
They lost out on the trademark, right? Yeah.
Fucking great. You're like, that is justice.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have not been allowed to change like that. No.
Yeah.
You lost your trademark. You have to pay her, and you can't change your name. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
I was thinking of like another sort of prediction that like people were like the big one people think of is like VHS versus Betamax, and it's like
which apparent. So I never had a Betamax at home, but my understanding was Betamax was the superior technology. Which
it was, but the porn industry was using VHS, and fucking everyone follows the porn industry.
I mean,
so
like
that's why.
That was I remember what was it? It was in Tropic Thunder. They were discussing about HD DVDs versus Blu-ray. Whereas porn kind of sided with both. They were like, we don't give a shit. And like I have a friend who's always gets things first. Like he bought a DVD player. It was $700. Like back and like, but it just it was a Sony. It was beautiful, and it was like. And the worst part was when we were in high school, he had a VHS collection that rivaled like smart people's book collection. Let's put it that way. Like he had so many VHS videos and not even like record like name brand, special edition, like crazy stuff. And then when DVDs came out, he bought DVDs for all of them too. And like he has a Dreamcast.
I hope he still has all that.
Oh yeah,
good. Because like
I don't know if he has a VHS player, but like we have VHS videos. We do not have a VHS. We got rid of all of them, and now I'm like, shit.
I want to get a Blu-ray or a DVD player just because like I'm a big fan of the whole physical media thing.
Yeah,
and we go to Goodwill a lot. They have DVDs and Blu-ray, and like like I'm walking through there with Katie last week, and it's like the entirety of seasons 6, 7, and 8 of 24, like the whole box sets. I'm like, God damn, dude! If I was a fan of 24, I would have stumbled upon gold. But like,
I have a few things like that. Like I have Serenity. I have a few other shows, like full box sets of them, and I'm like, I like the idea of having it because like the because we've bought movies on Prime. Where it just goes into your purchased stuff, and you're like, the problem is
lose the thing that poof,
it's gone, and you're like, I have a real problem with that idea of it, and that's why like it's so aggravating that like progress has been met with weird stuff like that all the time. Where like, okay, so you had like, I in my youth, my dad had a collection of 8 tracks, and then it was cassettes. And like before I could get a big collection of cassettes, there were CDs. Like that happened all within. And then by the time I was married the first time, my brother, as an engagement gift, gave me an MP3 player. And it was like, so like that was one of the first experiences of technology, like ramping up so fast.
And that's in like what, a decade and a half happening?
Probably about a decade. Like, and even like part of that, I would still record like late night DJ mixes off the radio with a cassette.
There you go.
Like that was a thing. Like and I'm like, I had some wild shit that you could not find anywhere.
I loved for a time where like people still had older cars
Yep.
or like cars from the 90s where they have the tape player. So for a time, like after MP3s and iPods became the norm, the tape with the auxiliary cord on the end of it, and you just stick the tape in, and
Yep.
there you go, play your
Yep.
iPod.
I had that. I had that on a few cars.
That in her card. Shout out to my cousin Charlotte. I don't know if you listened to this show, but she's cool.
It's that was the other thing I was thinking about. So the car I have is from 2004. It does not have a auxiliary port or a USB to charge things.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where it's very frustrating.
Does it have a cigarette lighter?
It doesn't work properly.
I was going to say you have a well, then you can use that to charge things, but if it doesn't work, fuck. Then
also too, I have tried to use the so there's you know, you can get the thing that goes in your cigarette lighter, and it links into your radio and plays whatever you want. Like I have
not seen that. I've just seen the little. It's just got the ports and you stick the cable in. But
so it is. You go to a station that doesn't have music and it plays through your radio. The problem is I live in a city center that every channel on the radio is taken. So screwed, right?
You got to go to AM.
It's a wild thing where you're like, there are certain technologies, like there was a TikTok that I saw that people were like, oh, the ability to read and communicate in Morse code is just slowly disappearing. And you're like, that's a bad thing. Because remember, Morse code could communicate around the world.
Yeah.
Right? Shortwave radio is still a thing. And even like I was thinking of getting like a ham radio license, but apparently it is actually super difficult to get because
my dad has his ham radio license. I was hanging.
Does he really?
Yeah, and he was like, I was like teaching him sign language. And he was teaching me like Morse code stuff.
It is actually a good thing. Like it's one of those things. Like even I was talking with somebody a while ago. Oh, you remember Kyle? And we were saying like to learn a language. Like I want to learn Mandarin. I want to get better at Greek, but also I was like the idea of learning American Sign Language. I'm not against. It's a useful.
Is there a Canadian Sign Language, or
no.
do you guys just use ASL?
ASL. I believe. You know what? It's not that I'm super knowledgeable about it. So let me just
Canadian Sign Language just ends with an A.
Is there Canadian Sign Language?
I do think that here's another good one. So predictions that when you were choosing languages in high school and college, depending on the size of your school, sometimes it's like we just have a Spanish teacher. That's it, or whatever. Some schools you have more options. And especially in college, you have to take a language, and everybody wants to take Spanish in California because, right?
Yeah. They want to communicate with their family.
Well, not even their family. It's just like there is a large population of people who speak Spanish here,
and tacos are great.
Tacos are great. Yeah.
You're gonna get better if you order in Spanish. You're gonna get better tacos. But hey, I went to a restaurant yesterday and I talked in Greek, and someone's like, "Hey, you Greek?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Greek. You Greek?" He's like, "I'm Greek too." Boom! I got extra food immediately.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. But when I got to college, they were like, they're full. Like,
you
got to pick something else. I'm like, okay. So I ended up choosing French because I figure enough people in the world speak French. Like a lot of countries in Europe, Quebec.
Quebec doesn't speak French. They speak some sort of hodgepodge of pig English, pig French.
Yeah, same thing with like Louisiana. Like you could kind of get by.
Listen, people in Quebec,
Louisiana of Canada.
Yeah. Well, if worse, people in Quebec and Louisiana are like, I know French. You're like, number one, you're probably a criminal. Number two, how dare you even say that, let alone try and speak it. Anyway, side note, Canada does speak American Sign Language predominantly. There's also Quebec Sign Language, Maritime Sign Language, and Indigenous Sign Languages.
Okay. Like, that makes sense, right? I assume Maritime Sign Language is something like Morse code where it's more universal.
No, it's a regional dialect used in the maritime province. So essentially just in the what you would call middle America, like the what's middle America, not middle America, is the Midwest.
The Midwest?
Yeah.
Okay.
except up north. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, go on.
So I took it like thinking, oh, I can use this someday. I didn't remember anything.
Yeah. Yes.
It's now become a bit where if I get matched or like parent teacher conferences, you meet the kids' parents. If the parent only speaks Spanish and I don't speak enough Spanish to get by, I will awkwardly speak French at them as a joke. Always gets a laugh, but that's what I've used my French for. Sorry, Professor Troby, if you're listening.
I mean, that is funny. That is a fair, yeah.
But like, so in that particular situation, they have like, the like sped people or people from the office. They'll like keep them behind who speak Spanish. Like, here, just go with the teacher who is too gringo to speak Spanish.
Yeah,
fair. So yeah.
I've been in other countries where tour guides couldn't communicate in the person's native language.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, it became this weird kind of telephone version of, it was like, no, but I speak German. He speaks German and this language. And it was like, and went back. And it was like, there were four translations happening. And then they were able to communicate. And you're going, that's some crazy shit. And I'm like, and the funny thing is that I would jump in and be like, why don't I just use sign language? And they're like, oh shit. I'm like, because I don't know sign language, but I will communicate, be like, point, number, maybe, how about food? I need to shit. Like there are simple things that you can,
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is better. And people are like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Or crossing your legs and holding your crotch, be like, I need to pee. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah.
They I love that when the internet and cell phones first came out, people were like, this isn't gonna catch on. Or like with cell phones, they're like only for business people.
Mm-hmm.
And they very much did not. We kind of like paid lip service to the internet thing at the beginning of the episode, but was there like what was kind of the sentiment back then when it came to like phones and the internet?
I'll tell you something really weird. I received my first text message on a phone that could not send a text message. So I had my phone. I had got a new phone. I got a text message. I'm like, what the hell? Click it. Cause I never purchased a BlackBerry, and people like it was a cult. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It was 100% a cult. People were like, what's your it was a BlackBerry ID. They called it something. It was your PIN number or something. Anyways, they were like, oh, you don't have one? You're not cool. And I'm like, you're retarded. Go fuck yourself. Because like, and there's apparently a documentary I got to watch about BlackBerry, because BlackBerry's only, their head office was in Kitchener-Waterloo, which is about an hour and a half away from here, just on the other side of the city. And like from where I grew up, it was 40 minutes. It was nothing. So like the idea that you could communicate privately on a BlackBerry and it was inaccessible, like you couldn't, people, you get a message and they're like, oh, this has been encrypted so no one can see it. You're like, okay. Whereas that actually was, and people couldn't see it, and governments were like enraged about it. That's why governments used it a lot, because you're like, you can't crack it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so like I had a phone that wasn't new. It wasn't great. I needed a phone. So I'm like, what can I get for free? They're like, this one. I'm like, all right, I'll get that. And then I got a text message, and then I tried to respond, and it's like, no, this phone can't do that. And I'm like, what the hell?
So you had to call them and curse them out.
I did. Yeah. Well, it was, so to be honest with you, do you remember The Hangover, the first one?
Oh, of course.
Where they call Bradley Cooper's character, and he's like, don't text me, it's gay. We're watching this for the first time, and three of my friends turn around and just look at me, because that is something I would say, where I'm like, don't text me, it's gay. Right. Yeah. Whereas now everybody just,
now if you call someone, they're like, what the fuck do you want?
Someone die? Did someone die? What happened? I only call older people. And even then I text them just to creep them out, and I'll send them something on Instagram, and they're like, my mom will call me and be like, I saw a message, but it has disappeared. I don't know where it's from. Because for her, a message is in her message center, like for text messages.
Notifications, yeah.
Not Instagram is not for messages because So it was a weird thing where I know I myself, because I was fat and lazy. I'm still lazy, but not as fat.
Yeah.
I embrace the convenience of it.
Of texting.
Of just having a phone on me at all times. Whereas a lot of people hated it right out of the gate. And they were like, remember, so I'm from an era, like my dad didn't want to spend $2 to have tone on his phone. So he had a rotary phone until I was like 18. Like,
interesting.
And it was like, because it was $2 extra. My dad's like, get fucked. Because so to put it in perspective, my dad had, the car I learned to drive on was a Plymouth Grand Voyager, which is the extended, but it was still a van. It had wood panels on the side. This was purchased in 88 or 89, and my dad had a car phone. Okay. And it had like a wire that went through, and it was outside one of the windows. It had a little thing that you had to take off if you were going into the car wash. You had to unscrew it and screw it back on as soon as you get out. And it was only done by one service provider, which was Bell Canada, which was the dominant phone carrier. We had Rogers was cable, Bell was phone, and then they had cell phone service. They would charge $1 per minute, and if you were over by 1 second, that was 2 minutes. To the point where later on in life, where my dad got called by Bell, and they're like, "Hey, you have a cell phone. Why don't you come to us?" And my dad's like, "Listen, if you gave me a free phone," and they're like, "We could do that." He goes, "and free service until I die, and they're like, "Oh, we can't do that." He's like, "I still wouldn't sign up with you because you are so parasitic in your business practices."
Yeah.
And you're like,
it got broken up in the 70s in the US. Like it.
Well, that's the thing is now you have everyone fighting for the same market. And the problem is, so like I used to have Bell Internet, which was the fastest. And then they jacked up my price. So I left them and I went to another company, which is Rogers. And it was half the price now. And I have that rate guarantee for 2 years. And then essentially after 2 years, I'm going to switch back and get the cheaper one. Like that is, in all honesty, I'm like, there was a time when there was brand loyalty and then they abused it because they were the only provider. Then it opened up like the floodgates. And now they're like, "Why aren't you loyal?" You're like, "Cause you're a piece of shit." Right.
Yeah. It's the same thing with like, why are people job hopping? Because that's the only way that people can increase their wages.
I know. I personally know a friend who's like, "You got to start job hopping," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
I'm afraid." I'm so comfortable where I am in knowing all the systems of the bank I was working at that I was afraid to go other places. And he did it, and it worked out great. And I'm so jealous of him.
I hate that that's a thing that people have to do.
Yeah.
And it's one of this is like an unspoken like perk of being a teacher is like we have a union and we have a salary tree, and it's the same whichever school you go to.
Yeah.
So it's good in that way.
It's that's why I'm kind of like doing this, and at the same time I'm like, I might learn a trade because I'm like, because you know why? And then I'm an electrician. Okay.
My friend Dan is not where the name of the show comes from. I know. My friend Dan is training to be an electrician as we speak. Actually, he just started his apprenticeship last week.
And like it goes back to this thing where you're like, there's been changes and predictions and things where like we have entire generations, mine included, yours included, was like, go to university for whatever the fuck you want and you'll get a job.
Yeah.
Right. And then you find out, oh yeah, that's how we used to do it, but not anymore.
And now it's you know what, the prediction is going to be wrong anyway. Just go study what you want to study, or go into a trade, or do community college or something like that.
Well, I remember people were like, listen, there are two things that people will always need. People need to poop. That's a plumber. And people want to see in the dark. Why? Because we're human and we are afraid of the dark. That's electrician. Yeah, those are two things that will forever and ever be useful.
We will always need what's it called? Shelter too. Construction. Always.
See, the only thing is in construction is there are so many different variations and technologies that are constantly changing. Whereas pooping and seeing in the dark don't change, right? They become easier to do, but nothing really changes. Whereas construction, like think about it this way: you live homes in LA are built with cement, yes, predominantly, right?
Yes,
homes up here
are built
with bricks, wood, drywall, right? It's not it's different.
The reason we don't do bricks is we used to do that, and then the '94 earthquake happened. So you gotta have buildings that can move and sway with the
and that's
shaking, which makes sense, right? Like
100%, right? But and that's the thing is, so anybody who is a bricklayer before that, everything changed, and they're like, fuck off.
Yeah. There's a house in my neighborhood where part of the sidewalk, I think this was them, like the person who lived in that house. The sidewalk is bricks. They just laid some bricks down. It's cool. I like it. I think another like good prediction that turned out to be wrong is all the stuff that the tech industry has like tried to say is the next big thing, and it really, really isn't. A good example is the Segway. Do you remember when the Segway came out?
I almost died on a Segway, bro.
Okay, so
I went to the science center and they're like, "You want to try?" I'm like, "Sure." And as soon as it was out of control, I just jumped. I just jumped off and it fell. And I'm like, "Sorry, I'm not gonna die on this fucking thing." Yeah.
Anyway, so for people who have never been on a tour of like a Segway tour of a city, because that's all they're used now for, is it's basically these two wheels with like a. If you've seen Paul Blart Mall Cop, that's the thing he rides is a Segway. And when it first came out in like the mid 2000s, there was stuff on the news because my dad is a big tech guy, so he was excited about it when it first came out. They're like, "This is going to change cities. This is going to come out. Everyone's going to have one," and it looks like the dumbest thing you've ever seen. Yes. It doesn't matter if this is really cool technology. If it looks dumb, people aren't going to use it.
Well, this number one, the creator of the Segway died going over a cliff using a Segway. Let's start there, right? Number two is a push scooter is the superior technology,
like a Razor scooter, right?
Yeah. So this is the wild thing is a Segway has so much technology. It basically has more technology than the fucking moon lander. Okay, but I'll tell you this: the thing that sticks up, the handle will just fall to the ground and you're boned. Okay. Whereas like a scooter, like a push scooter, doesn't.
Yeah. Now, electric scooters were popular when I was a kid. They're still popular now. Look at like Lime and Bird scooters and like.
Were they really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. So my sister and I had one. We got a. It was a 2-person scooter, so one could stand and ride the scooter, and the other one had a seat. You could also sit in the seat and operate the scooter if you were by yourself. But she and I were like riding along the beach at Venice, and we got like stopped by a cop and yelled at. And unfortunately, when my parents split up, it got lost in the move, and I'm still sad about it because it's one 100%. Of those things where, like, this is clearly before the technology got regulated.
Yes.
Because when I tried a Bird scooter, I'm like, oh my God, I can have one of these again. It's like half the speed. Like we're going 25, 30 miles an hour. It was going really fast. Like now those are still a thing. I see kids at my school like take a scooter to school, either the Bird Lime thing or they have a scooter. E-bikes are another like evolution of that technology where so like the scooter always endures in some way or another.
Yes.
You also see things like the mono wheel where it's like you put your feet on the two sides of it. It's kind of like a Segway without the handles. Yeah,
it is a Segway for murderers. Okay, because and like they go fast, and also that shit is not safe. Okay, like that is like having seen somebody on the road using it, and this guy had a backpack, and he's just like like a Segway, you have to lean a little forward for it to move forward. You lean back for it to go back, which is nuts. Because there's a certain amount of inertia that for me as a giant person and also being top heavy, I'm not doing that.
A good technology for for top heavy people.
And that's like watching, like I've seen someone get hit on a scooter, and I'm like, if they were on the mono wheel thing, like, look, I see him on a wheel, and I'm like, that guy is probably in the circus. That's my assumption. I'm like, that guy is in the circus, or he's a busker or something. Like, there's no real reason for you to be like, oh, my daily commute vehicle is a mono wheel. You're like, you're psycho. Like, you're a nut job, right?
I think the things that do end up changing society, like this is the next big thing, don't say they are until they become that. This sentence is about AI. Anyway.
Yeah. But that's one of the things where it's like, if anyone who says that's going to be the next big thing never turns out. It never is consistent. You're jinxing it. Like, that is, you have jinxed it. It now cannot. And that's why it's like, just live your life and the universe will decide. It's that simple.
If people are like, but AI isn't everything. Yeah, because they're trying to get it to catch on and everybody fucking hates it. But other case in point, we have the metaverse, NFTs, cryptocurrency.
Oh.
That's within the last 5 years. All three of these.
NFTs were some of the most entertaining shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, it was so funny with like Paris Hilton, like really trying, like, and she's not doing it right. She's on late night TV. Like, this is can you take the gun out of my spine, please? This is a monkey or something.
I love when someone's like, well, I have the non-fungible token. And you're like, okay, but I just screenshotted it and now I have it. And they're like, no, you don't. They're like,
It's right there. Yeah, I think the way they were looking at it was like, they see it as like a print of a painting versus a painting. I'm like, it looks stupid either way. So whatever.
And that's the thing too, is like the amount of different, like, so the principal idea behind cryptocurrency, like, as someone who was a financial planner, you're like, oh, okay, what's it backed by? They're like, supply and demand. You're like, oh, that's not real. That's just a fad. Like, it's not a real thing. And then when you're going, oh, well, Bitcoin is worth over $100,000, you're going, yeah, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, that's not, like, I'll be honest with you. At the same time, I did just buy one of those little Bitcoin mining lottery things, which I'm trying to figure out, because I'm like, oh yeah, well, hey, if it was $50, and I'm like, yeah, I just plug it in, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm willing to spend that money for the simple fact that I could spend $50 a day on food. So, you know.
I get the feeling that, like, in cryptocurrency's case, because the reason it caught on, like, in that particular way, because the inventors of Bitcoin, they're like, this is going to replace currency. It's not going to do that. Yeah. But for illicit activities, right? Porn, and that sort of thing. Absolutely. Which, like, of course, why not? Yeah. But it's not where they think it is. My old history professor, shout out to Hawkins if you're listening. Wow, I've done 3 shout outs today. Okay, so he does a class at the university that I went to about moral panics, and
ooh, that's good.
I was having dinner with him a couple months ago, and he was like, the solution to most moral panics is more of the moral panic. So, like, TV, when it comes out, everyone's like, it's rotting the kids' brains. We can't do it. What was the solution to that? PBS, Sesame Street, right? Like, making TV, the thing that the kids are addicted to, not terrible for them. What was the solution to the D&D moral panic and, like, oh, Satanism or whatever? Just more nerd things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, making it more of a mainstream thing so it's not so scary anymore.
Yeah. Well, that basically comes down to the whole idea where it's like, oh, knowledge and communication solve every problem. That's it. Just
more or less
have a better understanding of it, and you won't be afraid of it. Like, it's the same thing. Like, listen, the amount of times someone was like, Y2K, and I'm like, so what do you think is going to happen? They're like, I don't know, but it's scary. And I'm like, what's scary about it? They're like, it just is. And I'm like, you're an idiot. That's my conclusion, right?
Fear of the unknown. So yeah, what was the solution to the Y2K thing? Fucking fix the computers before Y2K. Done. Like, done.
Yeah, it was such a weird thing that, like, people are like, technology is going to die, and I'm like, yeah, but we haven't had this technology for over 100 years. Why would it go backwards? They're like, it just will. You're like, why? And like, also, there's the argument of the ghost in the machine, that the machine wants to survive. It's not going to kill itself, right? Like, and like it's a very intricate conversation when people are like, well, it's scary. You're like, no, I don't think you understand what's happening, right? Like it's
I need
there's
to rewatch Ghost in the Shell.
it's a great movie. And they've actually released a couple that were good, a couple that weren't as good.
The original one.
The original one is fantastic. Come on.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. No, but even like that's so right now a new season of One Piece came out, and Victoria and I have been humming and hawing about watching it. But I'm like, there's also 30 seasons, and some of the seasons have 45 episodes. And I'm like, let's hold the fuck on. Yeah. I don't know if I could do that. I'm like,
I got to in One Piece in like the anime, I got to Water 7, and I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. Not that it was not because it was a bad show, just like I've had my fill of One Piece.
Bro, I watched Supernatural, all 15 seasons that are hour-long episodes, 20 episodes per season in 18 days, okay? I'll binge shit. I have no problem, but 30 seasons? Calm down. Just that's a cult. I can't, yeah. Anyways, sorry, go
on. I'm looking at like listicles of wildly incorrect predictions that people had about the future. So
2012?
Oh God, yeah, that was a fun one.
Oddly, The Matrix saying peak of civilization was 1999. You're going,
I don't know.
There's an argument to be made.
I think there's something to be said about like, because I was a small child in 1999. I feel like if I went back there as an adult, maybe I could have a more accurate depiction, but it really does seem like kind of a good time to be alive.
it was that middle existence where there was internet, but you couldn't be bombarded. Let's say internet before pop. Yeah, but there weren't like pop-up ads. Like there were some ads, like there was a banner ad. Okay. Yeah. But it wasn't I open up and like it wasn't as bad as it has become. Mm-hmm. So it's this weird thing that like, yeah, it was kind of that middle ground of privacy and global communication. It was like at a balance. It was a weird thing, but yeah.
Okay, so like some examples were like superhero movies aren't going to catch on. I thought there would be holograms, which like I'm guessing that has to do after the Tupac one, right? Where he was in the concert.
Well, like so technically that happened, and just nobody cared.
Yeah,
right.
That seemed to be a thing with like. Remember when? In the middle of like the beginning of the Epstein files, they're like, "Oh yeah, we found aliens." We're like, whatever. It's the pandemic. I don't like. I don't care.
Yeah. It was it, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. The perspective that people had during the pandemic, where they're like, I'm at home. Go fuck yourself. Like it was like they were just like, I just don't care anymore. Mm-hmm. That was quasi 1999. Where people were just like, I have my own stuff to deal with. Just okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Why'd you get? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna go do my thing. Like it was that weird thing, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like the freaking out about something being released, either positive, like this is going to be the next big thing, or negative, this is going to blow everyone's mind in a bad way, or this is going to ruin the world. 99 times out of 100, it just turns out to be, we'll figure it out. We figured it out.
So I had this conversation, and I used you as an example how like people using AI to write stuff, mm-hmm. and I was like, oh yeah, and then the teachers find something to detect AI, and then the students find something to scam the detection, and then people find like a double checker of AI, and you're just like, it just goes back and forth.
Like my way of doing it is an assignment that is written that doesn't have anything to do with English class up top, so I know what they sound like, and then when it doesn't sound like them, ta-da! Like,
have you had the luxurious experience of somebody who communicates digitally using AI, and then you talk to them in person, and you're like, are you not a real person? Like, why can't you say words? What's going on here? Like, it was like, it's a very where you're going, huh?
I know, like
What are
all
you
the
talking about?
emails are sounding the same. Like even at my some, not all, but some of my fellow teachers are like, yeah, I'm like, dude, it's yes, it's annoying that you have to like answer back with this, but like it's something. Use your brain.
Yeah. Well, the
Your
idea,
English
like,
teachers, for God's
well,
sake.
I was talking with a few friends. We went to a light show. It was very cool. I'm going to be posting about it all day today.
That's something that I think is cool, is like the drone light shows as like
Well,
a
so this was, I'll be honest with you. So it celebrated light, sound, music, architecture, calm, disassociation from technology. Like, it hit so many things, and it was a half-hour experience, and I kind of wish it was longer, but it was super cool.
I think those, like, okay, not in a this will be the next big thing type of deal, but like I think those are a good alternative to fireworks shows, because not only is it terrible for the environment, all that, you know, smoke and gunpowder and everything, it scares the doggos, and I feel bad for
I think we
dogs,
should,
especially in LA. So I say we switch to those, because that just seems like a better alternative.
I have another alternative.
Okay.
We start training dogs to fight war. That way they are very capable. You can buy, hold on, hear me out. They don't have to go to war, but they're trained for it. So they get cool clothes. And then it's a very different. Hey,
it's like
I'm not saying
general dog.
Or like battle ready combat wiener dog. I'm just like, he can have like a scorpion tail that just
she's not battle ready, but she is a good strategist. I feel like she would be like a ninja or
dog ninja training. I'm just
dog ninja training, or just the kind of thing where she like, okay, so here's how we infiltrate this building, and then like tells the other dogs what to do.
She could be in dog version of Mission Impossible. I'm just like, she could be a spy.
Mission Indoggable. Stupid.
I mean, would it be a ninja dog or a dog ninja?
I think the adjective comes before the noun. So the ninja-ness, like, she is a dog, and
regardless of being a ninja.
Ninja dog. Yeah. Now, if it was a ninja who, you know, got ears and a tail, dog ninja.
I'd use that rationale, and then I was like, Hong Kong Fooey. I'm like, that doesn't work. It's because there's no dog in there.
Okay. So I guess a good way to like end the episode would be like, what is some?
You're freezing up. We lasted an hour. Come on. That is frustrating, everybody. You know what? Anyone who has their own personal thing that they wish was back. All right, you're back. Okay, good. I almost had to ask a question. Jesus.
Okay. Good way to end the episode of like, what's a prediction that we have about the future, whether we think it's going to go wrong or not, like
for us or in general,
culture, for us that we have.
That I don't think WALL-E will ever happen.
Why?
The only way for the plot of WALL-E to actually happen is if, I think it's like 94% of the universe just implodes. Like, so the idea that the rich would be okay with, we're just going to go on a spaceship and we just become fat. And you're like, no, they won't. You know why? Because you guys don't know how to do shit. So that there's always that component of the haves and the have-nots, but the haves actually aren't capable to do it. Like, there are people who are very wealthy and are extremely capable. They're about 7 out of a population of 8 billion. Whereas there are people who don't have and are also very capable. Why? Because like, it's like the idea of someone who's poor has learned how to fix a car. Why? I can't afford a mechanic. I have to figure it out on my own. Simple, right? So it's I don't believe that future is actually possible as much as people are like, that's where we're going. You're like, no, we're not. It's not. You?
I think So this is very much influenced by my reading of Ministry for the Future, which I have talked about on the show before.
You suggested I read it, and I read the synopsis, and I'm like, no, I'm not reading that. That is propaganda, sir. That is propaganda.
Propaganda, but like, there's a cool chapter that I just read where there's an atmospheric river in LA, so like huge rainstorm to the point where the city floods. And like people are going up on freeways to
Right.
save their cars and stuff. And this one lady who's like, I'm a fan of kayaking and I have a kayak, is like, I'm just gonna go get in the kayak and kayak around rescuing people. It's a really cool chapter because it's like I live in LA and all the things that are being mentioned, like where she's going, I'm like, oh, I can follow that. Like, but I think that we've seen a couple news articles about this, and this happens in the book. Is a lot of shipping goes from like oil and gas powered to back to sail. Now,
Yeah.
it's not like wood, like it's not like a pirate ship like you're thinking of. It's still like a big tanker. It's just powered by wind. I feel like that's going to be a thing.
I number one, if you do take the time to research the size of ships, so think about peak wood ships before steel ships became a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
They could be wood tankers. I'm just letting you know, like,
yeah,
like it is the amount of. There's a picture of a flag that was on a ship. And it is probably, and remember, so a flag that you would put on a ship is going to be maybe a quarter or a third of the size of the main mast. Okay, like it would not cover half the mast. That's stupid. That would be dragging. Like it's not that big. It was 100 meters long. Like it's not like what you're going. Do you understand how? So if it's 100 meters long diagonal as a flag, we're talking about it's going to have a height of around 40 meters, and that's a quarter of the mast sticking out the top of the ship. That means the mast is 160 meters. That is not a ship. That is a dreadnought of fury. That is a personnel carrier that could populate an entire island. Like it's we don't have a
I've seen have been like, it looks more like windsurfing, where like the sail is like attached by a cable and is pulling that way.
Sure.
And then also they have like turbines and a battery, which also makes sense as like a way to power your ships. But like that would be cool. And then also, this is something I want, but it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah,
is blimp travel.
Seems okay. So there's a thing about oil tankers starting to use sails, and they're like, we found this new technology, and everyone's like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So there's that. But blimp travel, there was a whole conversation about it. So the reason blimp travel didn't happen was because of how hard it is.
Hydrogen, right?
It's So helium, which is an inert gas. Instead, you had to. They were using hydrogen, which is combustible, and so you're going. So it was an access of technology, but then now they're saying how there are. Apparently the moon, you can get helium-3, which is actually what you need, because it is a limited resource on Earth. Because number one, it's
a noble gas. It doesn't. Yeah.
So it's there's a whole thing about it, but that's the real thing is, blimps were a thing. Like it was a real thing.
Yeah, until like they were bombing London. Like they were just going up because they flew higher than planes could. So they would just like float above London and drop bombs, boom, 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 and leave.
That's the weird thing is you're going the corruption that capitalism causes actually restricts our progress of technology.
Yes.
Right. So it was very profound. I came up with it right now. I'm sure a million people have said it before. It's very accurate, and that's like it's one of those things where you're going like, oh yeah, if everyone wasn't a dick, we could do some awesome shit. But no, everyone's a dick.
That is a way to get that to the masses. If everyone wasn't a dick, we could do some awesome shit. Just depends on your idea of awesome.
Yeah.
But like, okay, part of it is also because I was watching the Archer episode where they're on the blimp and they're doing it like they're trying to like pitch it as a form of luxury travel.
Yeah.
And then, Archer keeps thinking there's hydrogen and there's not, and they keep reminding him it's helium. Like someone goes to light a cigarette, he like smacks the lighter out of their hand, like everyone's gonna be die. They're like, for the last time, it's helium. Like,
Yeah.
such a good episode.
But it's like that's the it's a great episode.
Yeah,
Archer. I got to get back to watching Archer because for a
It's
while I
Hulu?
stopped watching it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hulu. So up here, Hulu
Oh, yeah.
has joined with Disney. So there's a lot of new stuff that I'm checking out, but I don't know. It's a weird thing that I feel like your own personal. Remember how they had those? It was like a parachute, but it had a fan on the back, and you could fly around with it.
Yeah,
And like apparently, like you can do some cool shit with that. And they're like, you're not allowed to. I'm like, why not? They're like, because you can't. And I'm like, yeah, but why not? They're
like airspace or whatever. Like you don't want to collide with a plane or something.
You can't. You can only go like 150 meters into the air or 200 meters. You can't. You're not going like 1,000 feet in the air. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like they've created licensing for drones, which you're like, yeah, why? Because people are dicks.
Yeah,
but
makes sense. And like I'm surprised they don't make a drone where it's like you just hook yourself up to the drone and like
that's happening too. Have you seen so cartels were using drones to drop off drugs. So the police started using drones to catch those drones.
Yeah.
And then the cartel started upgrading their drones. And then when they I don't know if it was real or not, but they were like, we haven't had this much fun in the longest time because like no one's gonna get hurt, but we're like dogfight. It is super cool.
Yeah. That's how a lot of the warfare was for Ukraine and Russia was with drones.
Yeah.
And
still, but yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, still, but I mean, like, it's the sort of thing where even in Ministry for the Future, like, part of how they like deal with like get to dirigible travel is terrorist groups, terrorists in the like, they're not attacking people, they're attacking like infrastructure. Is they'll like have drones fly in and blow up private jets sitting on the tarmac.
Yep.
And to be like, hey, no more private jet travel. That's just how it is. And then like they're attacking fishing boats on the sea. Like everybody on the fishing boat, come on this boat, and then they sink the fishing boat, and they're like, no more fishing for a little bit. Like, that's just what's going to happen now. And then like the boat makes a new coral reef by sinking too. Like it's
There's like this is the funny thing is that people are like, oh, we have to dredge the reef to get more fish, and you're like, or you could not do that and not ruin all the wildlife in all of the ocean, you assholes. Yeah. And then like there's this weird thing where there's an allegory. Let's call it an allegory.
Allegory.
Yeah. It was where a man was fishing in Greece on he had a little boat. He would go out and fish, bring back the fish, sell the fish that he wanted to sell, take the rest home and feed his family. And a lady who was visiting from the Americas was like, oh, you should invest in getting more fish. And then you would buy a bigger boat and more fish. And he's like, oh, but why would I do that? She's like, well, you make more money. He's like, yeah, but why would I do that? Zaragoza's like, bark, 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 bark. Yeah. And a bark to you too, sir.
Zorro, good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah.
But then like, why would I do that? Oh, because you make more money. Okay. And why would I do that? It's like, oh, because then you can make more money and then you can retire. And what do you do to retire? Oh, you would just spend time with your family. He goes, yeah, but I'm doing that right now. So why would I do that? Like, that's not, it's that whole idea of capitalism is like, you have to sacrifice your time, family, health, life, sleep.
So that you can have the time to spend with them in the first place. It's like,
yeah, okay. When you can no longer actually do stuff with your family, that's when you're like, no, or I could just enjoy my life and not be a piece of shit.
Yeah. And like, I think that's part of the reason that like, when I have kids, I'm excited as a teacher because I have time to spend with them.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. It's one of those things where you start to realize like it's nicer to cry in a Mercedes than on a bicycle. I will agree, but hey, or we could all just have a reasonable car and not cry. Maybe that's the solution.
But it's better than both of those to cry in a Honda Civic with your family. Who can? No, okay.
I just hate the Civic. That's just. I just want to say a reasonable car. I'm not saying everybody has to have a minivan, but I'm just like, hey, there's. Okay. It's the same idea where people are like, I have to have a giant truck that guzzles gas, and you're like, oh, why? Are you in a construction or something? And they're like, no. You're like, oh, do you go into the wilderness? No. So why do you need a truck? Because it's fucking cool. And you're like, that's not a reason. That's not,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know.
So for the people listening to this, what is a prediction that you have about the future, or what is your favorite prediction that went horribly wrong about pop culture, technology, or whatever? Or what's something that you don't think is going to happen, but you want to happen anyway? Put it in the comments. If you want to do all three, go for it.
Or the reverse. What is something that's going to happen and that you think is inevitable and you really don't want to happen? Yeah.
Yeah,
or will
whatever.
Whatever.
So many ways to take those questions. You can follow us at Generation Dan, wherever fine social medias are found. Follow me at Atlas Novak in those same places. I do a lot of stuff about what it is to be a teacher and a lot of musical theater stuff. And it is Epilepsy Awareness Month, and I've done nothing so far, and I really need to lock in for that. I've done nothing for my people. Or you can check out my other show, Nexus at Night, which is streaming on YouTube every Friday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. That is, once again, Nexus at Night. What about you, good sir?
I am the Dino the Genetic Marvel, as you can see right here, and I am doing a lot of stuff. I'm doing food reviews. I got to get back to doing Lego. I am going to be traveling in the next couple of weeks. So
right, Florida,
I leave on Friday to go to Florida. Mm-hmm. And I'm taking the long way. So I'm visiting things and eating places, and I'm eating at places. I'm not eating entire places. This was very clear about that, but yeah.
Are you still doing the cooking show again? Or
I haven't been, but I will be doing some stuff like that, especially when I get to Florida.
This is over like you said next week or in the next couple of weeks, or when is this?
I'm leaving on Friday.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to be in Charleston on Sunday. Okay. So I'm going to come back to the hotel, do the podcast as best I can, and then I'm going to continue on my day of fun and enjoyment with my wife. And then I'm in Florida on Monday. Actually, I'm going to be driving all day to Florida from Charleston. And then I'm in Florida for a week, and then I'm traveling again. I'm not sure. So this coming Sunday, I should be fine. The next Sunday, 50-50.
Maybe we we don't have a guest for that week, so we might take that week off. And then,
not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. But anyways, everyone, tune in, enjoy.
All right.
You have lots of stuff happening. If you don't like us, that's a you problem. We're awesome. So you should know that. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.